Welcome to the Visa Mo, Sagot Ko, ang kauna-unahang lingguhang talakayan ng mga bagong balita at batas ukol sa Australian Migration Law and Process. Tuwing Miyerkules 6 to 6:30 ng gabi mula sa AusPac Visa. AusPac Visa is a trusted Australian migration agency for Filipinos all over the world. AusPac Visa is the home for all Filipino professionals, skilled workers, partners, families, students, graduates, and trainees who want to visit, live, work, and permanently stay in Australia. Makipanayam dito sa Visa Mo, Sagot Ko, ang kalahating oras na talakayan ng mga balita, batas, proseso, at mga isyung tungkol sa pag-a-apply ng Australian visa. Kasama niyo po si Teresa Cardona, Director, Lawyer at Registered Migration Agent mula sa AusPac Visa sa Brisbane, Australia. Paalala lang po na ang mga talakayan at mga impormasyong mababanggit sa programang ito ay sa pawang mga impormasyon lamang at hindi payong legal at hindi rin at walang kinalaman sa mga personal at natatanging sitwasyon ng mga nanonood at nakikinig. Ang Australian Immigration Law ay madalas na nagbabago kung kaya't makabubuti na ugaliing magsayasat at humingi ng payong akma sa inyong pansariling pangangailangan. At ngayon, live mula sa Brisbane, Australia, ang inyong host at tagapagtalakay ng mga balita, issue, batas at proseso na nauukol sa Australian Migration and Visa Application, Teresa Cardona, Director, Lawyer, and Registered Migration Agent from AusPac Visa.
Hello, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. So, we're here again, live, Visa Mo, Sagot Ko. So, I'm sure dun sa mga followers namin last year, medyo na-miss po siguro kami, no? Kasi matagal na rin na hindi kami nakapag-live ng ganito. Gawa nga po ng napaka-busy namin. So, again, I'm Teresa Cardona from AusPac Visa. I'm the principal and the lawyer, Director and Registered Migration Agent of AusPac Visa. So, kasama ko po sa mga staff ko, nandyan po si Cara na technical director natin tonight, just doing all these things for us at medyo stranger po sa amin itong bagong sistema namin, pero I hope this is getting clear to you and I hope malinaw yung pagtanggap nyo dyan sa inyong side. And of course, kasama rin po natin si Katrina Alexis, one of our staff na talaga namang nagtatrabaho ng maigi para sa mga documents nyo. And of course, sa student visa application, nandyan din si Ate Jonah na palagi rin nandyan sumasagot. And then sa iba pang mga areas ng processing, nandiyan ako. Nandiyan din si Ralph at nandiyan pa yung iba pang miyembro ng pamilya. So, bumati po kayo sa amin ngayon kasi makikita namin yung mga comments nyo ngayon sa screen. Kung nasaan kayo nanonood at kung meron kayong questions, itanong nyo agad kasi baka mamaya maubusan tayo ng oras. So, andito po kami ngayong 6 o'clock hanggang 6:30 maya-maya po. So, kung may tanong kayo, pakilagay nyo agad dun sa comment section natin and babasahin ko mamaya habang patuloy akong nagpapaliwanag ng iba't ibang kaganapan sa ating Australian visa processing at sa mga batas. Okay, so si Rad FY, good morning po, watching from Riyadh. Hi Rad, actually gabi na dito sa amin, good morning pa sa'yo. Pero maraming salamat for tuning in at para makita mo kami. And Gia E. Kapangpangan, tinatawag niya yung kanyang kaibigan siguro. And of course, si Fiori Cruz, ang ating avid follower. Maraming salamat Fiori, magandang gabi rin sa iyo, mula daw siya sa Gold Coast. Now, if you don't know, sa mga nakakarinig, Fiori is a wedding celebrant. So, kung gusto niyo magkaroon ng napaka maganda at mapaibig na wedding celebration in our own language, kayang-kayang gawin niya ni Fiori, and of course in Australian language, kaya rin gawin ni Fiori. Okay, Fiori, ayan ha, binati kita ha. So, magandang gabi sa'yo. And Justin Yana, mas maganda po ba TRA-JRP sa Vitases? So, titingnan natin yan kasi magkaiba yung dalawa na yan na tinatanong mo. Okay, for Ito na, lumalabas na ang ating mga tanong. Pero just to start with, umpisahan po natin muli ang pagbati ng Auspac Visa sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig. And I just would like to make mention that 2 days ago, Department of Home Affairs, so ang immigration, has released a new processing timeline. So medyo updated na ngayon ang immigration. So meaning to say, nakaka-catch up na dun sa maraming application. Naka-recover na ang immigration. So ngayon, ang gandang tingnan, yung 820, sabi nila, mayroong processing na hanggang 6 months lang. And then 9 months and 12 months. Hindi kagaya dati na 1 year to 2 years ang processing. And another one that we should put into consideration is yung tourist visa applications, no? Ang bilis ng mga tourist visa applications ngayon. So, in most of the times, 4 days it is finalized. Pero sa kaso po ng Philippines, palagay ko hindi nangyayari yung 4 days. Karaniwan sa aming mga application, takes about 9 days to 14 days bago namin malaman yung resulta. At syempre, dun sa mga student visa applications na nilalodge either DIY o through a lawyer, to RMA o through education agents. So makikita nyo rin po, nandyan po yung subclass 500. Umaabot po ngayon ng 9 na araw. Maikli yun, ano? And then, nandiyan din umaabot ng 23 days. Ang pinakamahaba ay 4 months. Lalong-lalo na kapag ka merong further assessment o kaya naman pagka meron ka ng refusal na natanggap. So, medyo humahaba yung processing ng application. And then, for all the rest ng nandito under 400 series, 485, 408, and yung business visa na tinatawag. So, mabilisan din yan. So, around about 2 months, no? Or 72 days ang kanilang processing time. Medyo matagal ang processing time ngayon sa phone 91, if you can see it on the screen. Sa phone 91, dahil nga nag-aabang pa o nag-aantay pa sa allocations ng mga states, so inaabot na 17 months, no, yung phone 91 under state sponsorship. Pero pansinin nyo yung pagkakaiba, no? Under family-sponsored phone 91, ang processing ay mabilis lang, no? Naabot lang ng 4 months, no? So, take that into consideration when you're making an application, o kaya naman if you have already lodged your own application at ikaw ay hindi na mapakali at ikaw ay nai-stress na kailan ba lalabas ang resulta, siguro itong bagong update ng processing time ng immigration makakatulong sa'yo para nang sa ganun masettle ka kahit paano. Okay, so puntahan natin yung question ng marami, no? Yung GTE, ano na bang nangyayari sa GTE statement para sa mga student visa? Common tong tinatanong kasi 'di ba? I think 2 months ago or 3 months ago nag-release ang immigration ng parang panibagong instruction na you have to put your GT statement in 300 words dun sa maliit na box na makikita dun sa application. So, kaya sabi ng marami, 300 words, how can you put everything in 300 words? Hanggang dun lang ba? Kailangan ba ay mahabang-mahaba para ma-articulate yung hinihinging factors for consideration ng immigration. Now, the best answer there is, if you are going to lodge the application, dun sa mismong application, don't leave it blank. No, you have to do your 300 words, meaning to say summary. Now, everything that you can do to put out straight away para mabasa ng case officer, then do the 300 words. Okay? And also, kahit na naglagay na kayo ng 300 words, you don't leave the GTE statement behind because the long GTE has a lot of things to address. So, i-address nyo pa rin yon. It's not going to hurt you to address. Although I know that it's very difficult to make a GTE statement. Okay? But, it will make a big difference if you don't only do the 300 words, but also do your long GTE statement. Now, in some areas, yes, some people do 7 pages, some people do 5 pages, some people do 9 pages. It really depends on your circumstances. So however you're going to put it, just make sure that you address those factors for consideration that the case officer is looking for. Okay, so now let's move on to gaano ba karami nag-a-apply sa student visa, no? At gaano ba karami yung nag-grant, no? So at the moment, you can see on the screen, ito ay hanggang nung 31st of December 2022. That's the most recent information that we can get from immigration. And you can see it depends on a different sector, no? So maraming application ang ginagawa ngayon, we know that na napakarami talagang applicants for student visas. Pero makikita nyo, maraming nag-a-apply noong 2021, pero mas maraming nag-a-apply ngayong financial year na ito. No? So kasi ang pinagbabatayan pa lang natin dito is July 1 to 31 of December 2022. That is for the financial year 2022-2023. So, in that case, makikita nyo, nasa kalahating taon pa lang tayo, pero parang mas marami na yung applications na ginawa ng mga aspiring student visa for Australia. No? So, yan, ganyan karami, no, ang nangyayari. I don't think we have the slides here for how many percentage is the visa grant for Philippines, no. So for the visa grant for Philippines, we are actually at the 77.3, I think, for visa grants. So which means to say na merong percentage, at medyo malaki yun, that's significant yun, no? Kasi that's more than 20% na hindi nag-grant. Okay, so nare-refuse yung kanilang application for whatever reason. So, pero kung mapapansin nyo, halos lahat ng refusal sa student visa, alam nyo na kung anong dahilan. It is because of the GTE. So, always, case officer can always find a reason in your GTE to refuse the application. So really, the onus for you is to put out whatever you can put out to address effectively the considerations, the factors for consideration. Okay? So nakikita ko marami pa ring nagbibigay ng tanong. Balikan ko kayo mamaya. Sandali na lang para makuha lang natin tong updates na to. Okay, so for student visa, there you go. There's about 12,000 applications done for this year, pero cut off nung 31st of December. But we know na from January to now, marami pa rin yung nag-a-apply. With this kind of trend, medyo nabawasan na rin yung nag-a-apply, no? Hindi kagaya last year kasi nung inopen yung application at sinabing open yung Australia, maraming nag-jump in, ano? Pero nakita naman natin nung December, Diyos ko, sa katutak na refusal yung lumalabas doon sa mga applications for many other reasons, no? Na maaring administrative pagdating sa immigration at saka yung mga processing centers nila ay kung saan-saan na napunta. But anyway, when it comes to tourist visa, because a lot of people are applying for tourist visa now, some people are coming on a tourist visa and then shifting to student visa or shifting to partner visa or shifting to child visa, whatever and wherever they are eligible, then they do it once they come to Australia. And that is within the boundaries of the law. So you can still do that provided na walang 8503 conditions in yung tourist visa. Okay? So remember that if there's no 8503, then you are allowed to make a further application while on shore. Okay? And just make sure na yung susunod na application nyo while on shore is the eligible visa for you at dapat maging successful, because once you're refused onshore, then what's going to happen to you? You will have to either go home with a refusal or magkaroon ng case sa tribunal para ipaglaban kung bakit ka dapat bigyan ng visa. Okay, now tourist visa, ilan ba ang nag-grant at pasok ba dito ang Philippines? Now, maraming applicants from Philippines, there's no doubt about it, and makikita nyo naman na marami naman din talagang mga Filipinos ang pumasok, pero wala pa tayo sa top 3 ng maraming tourist visa grants. No? So, ang unang-unang pinakamaraming tourist visa grants for this year, halfway pa lang po tayo, ay of course ang India, pumapangalawa ang UK, and then ang pangatlo ay Singapore. Okay? Maraming nabibigyan ng tourist visa sa mga Pilipino, pero meron ding pa isa-isa, paunti-unti na nare-refuse for again, genuineness issue. Okay, so I think that's all that I need to say. So I will have to go to your questions now. If you have more questions, then go ahead. Just put it in the put it on the comment section, and I'm going to read it and then answer your questions. It doesn't matter whatever your questions are. So there's no silly questions, ika nga. So kung hindi tinanong, hindi makakakuha ng sagot. And also, just mind you before moving on, just mind you that we are doing Visa Mo Sagot Ko for people who have questions, pero feeling nila, ay, hindi ko na kailangan ng consultation, madali lang naman tong tanong ko, or one-liner lang naman tong tanong ko. Always come and watch the Visa Mo Sagot Ko, then you can ask those questions. Kasi po doon sa amin, sa dami-daming tanong na dumarating sa amin sa araw-araw, we don't have time to actually just answer all those questions. So, if you ask your questions here in Visa Mo Sagot Ko, then I will answer. And the good thing about asking your question in live session like this is it could be the same question as other people watching have in mind na hindi naman nila maitanong. So in other words, by making your questions or asking your questions, you are also giving others the benefit of that answer to that questions. Okay? So, umpisahan natin yung tanong kanina ni Justiniana. Ang sabi niya is, mas maganda po ba TRA, JRP, or VITASES? Now, Justin, it will depend. Kasi pagka JRP, nasa TRA yun, no? Nasa TRA yon. Ang ibig pong sabihin ng JRP is Job Ready Program. Kapag ka nag-Job Ready Program ka, nasa TRA. No? And then, follow all those steps na kailangan mo para matapos mo yung full skills assessment mo. Okay? And most of the trades occupation nasa TRA, wala sa VITASES. And JRP is with TRA. Okay? So, TRA. Now, second question is question ni Melba Gonzalez Calpito Tomas. Ang haba ng, ang haba ng pangalan niya. Okay, ang sabi niya, hello po, ano po ba ang possibility na pwedeng visa after ng work visa 482 for STTSL. STTSL. Okay, but married to an Aussie citizen po, may way po ba to apply PR visa rather than going through spouse visa? And thank you. Okay. Now, if you came from 482 visa at nasa short-term lists ka, baka walang 186 visa doon. So, in other words, kung wala siyang pupuntahan na 186, kung sarado siya kasi wala yung occupation mo dun sa short-term skilled list, pwede kang pumunta doon sa 491 o kaya naman ay pumunta ka, kung nasa listahan pa rin, no? O kaya naman ay 494, yung employer-sponsored visa in the regional area. Okay, so i-check mo ang 494 employer sponsored visa, but that is in the regional area. Now, if you're doing the 494, you will need to apply for your skills assessment and you will need at least 3 years work experience kung ayaw mong pumasok dun sa partner visa na sponsored ka ng iyong Australian citizen partner. Okay? Now, si Mara Potts, mayroong question siya. Or, okay. So, nagsasabi lang siya na she is watching. Maraming salamat, Mara, for watching and for joining us tonight. And maraming salamat, Zina. And also, do we have any more questions? Okay, I can see more questions there. By Lector Lauren. Good evening po, attorney. Ang question ko po ay kung totoo po bang mahirap mag-student visa kapag nakakuha na din dito sa Pinas ng bachelor's degree. Isa po akong RN at gusto ko pong mag-conversion course para po maging RN din sa Australia. Okay, ang suggestion po kasi sa akin ng agent ay mag-masters ako 2 years, which is leading to registration din kasi hindi na po kaya ng budget. Ano po yung comment nyo dito at salamat po. Okay. Now, straight pathway, pag student visa, siguro malaki ang hindi yung madali, no. Sometimes I hate to go to stick with madali words o yung kaya yung makakalusot kasi walang madali sa application. No. So, laging mahirap yung application. Imagine the amount of time that you need to put into your application, the amount of effort you have to get, because you're going to get all the documents and then marami kayong mga iniisip, marami kayong gustong maklaro and things like that. So, walang madali. Siguro mas maiging tingnan dito is ano ba yung mas stronger? Ano ba yung merong mas mataas na likelihood to get a successful visa application o magkaroon ka ng visa grant. Now, for you being an RN, the straightforward pathway is, I will agree na kung tapos ka ng bachelor degree mo, then you go for master's. No, master's in nursing or health management or whatever it is that is related to you being a registered nurse. But also, having said that, baka pwede ka pa rin sa bachelor degree din. Pero, Bachelor of Nursing, kung nakagraduate ka sa Philippines ng less than 10 years ago, then you can get a 1-year credit para 2 years na lang yung iyong pag-aaral under bachelor degree. Ngayon, kung mas mahal pa rin yan, maaari pa rin kumuha ng ibang mga programs under the vocational programs. But just be very careful about the choice of those programs. No? So, marami dito, they were nurse in the Philippines, they come to Australia and doing individual support or health management courses. But I would like to put a warning there, no? So, dapat align pa rin yan dun sa iyong career goal so that while you're taking up this diploma program, at the back of it is ginagawa mo rin yung OBA mo, right? So, yung OBA is you do your NCLEX and you do your OSCE until finally you get your registration. So, meaning to say, you're not using the student visa course in order for you to become an RN, because at the back of it, what you're doing is complying with the requirements of APRA by doing the OBA. I hope that makes sense. Okay? So in other words, in front, you're doing the student visa, doing maybe other courses, the smaller courses, and then at the same time, you're doing the OBA at the back. Okay? And you becoming a registered nurse in Australia will of course be dependent on whether or not you will pass the NCLEX and the OSCE at some point later on. Okay? Hindi kagaya nung Bachelor of Nursing, because once you finish the 2 years Bachelor of Nursing program, then you will be assured that upon completion of that course, you will become a registered nurse. Okay? So I hope that's clear and I hope that's making sense. Okay. Now, from June Araw. June Araw, I am on a 482 visa po. If ever po ba magkaanak here sa Australia, need po bang i-apply as 482 visa din yung baby? No, you don't need to apply for 482 for the baby, but you have to advise the immigration that yes, a baby was born sa inyong pagsasama and the visa of the baby will be the same visa as yours. Okay? Catherine Espiritu, hello, nasa AU na po ako on student visa. For my de facto po, kung susunod siya, how much po ang show money usually? Okay, depends on the, first of all, kung Pilipino ka, si Catherine Espiritu, I'm assuming that you're Filipino. For Filipino clients or applying for student visa, the financial requirement or the financial evidence is not really a legal requirement. Okay, I just would like to make it clear, no? It's not really a legal requirement kasi tayo ay maganda yung writing pagdating dun sa student visa. Hindi natin kailangan yon. But where does financial evidence come in? No, pumapasok yun sa GTE nyo, no? Kasi parang napakahirap i-justify sa GTE na pupunta ka sa Australia temporarily tapos wala kang pera, no? So just make sense of it, no? So, ibig sabihin, pagpapasok ka at sinabi mo sa GTE mo na pupunta ka sa Australia temporarily and you're not even assured that you're going to have a job, you must at least have some money with you to convince the immigration that you're not going to be a burden. Pero, hindi yan legal requirement that you must have that amount of money. You must have this amount of money, no? Pero kasama sa GTE kung yan ay i-mention mo sa GTE mo. And also, of course, it will help kung meron kayong mga support from your relatives. Pero napakalaking tulong sa inyong application kung kayo ay may kakayanan financially kasi unang-una, napakamahal ng tuition fee. And then second, hindi nga assured yung trabaho nyo dito sa Australia. And also, that is giving message to the immigration that, hey, I'm not going to Australia to work, but I'm going to Australia to improve my my career options by getting an international qualification that is more competitive than the qualification that you probably have from your home country. Okay? So, next question that we have, I hope that's a little bit clear, Catherine. Nina Sarah Francisco. Okay. Okay, we're closing in 5 minutes now. It's 6:30, so we're closing in 5 minutes. So just put in your question. I'll try to answer every question that you're going to put in. Okay, so hi po. This is from Nina Sarah Francisco. Hi po, yung processing time po ba pag grant ng PMV, ano kaya yung PMV? Ilang months po tinatagal bago mag-grant? Simula start, lodge date ang bilang ng waiting ng process time or after medical po? Okay, I don't know what is PMV, but I will answer that question kung kailan nagsimula. Yung processing time, yung reckoning time yung counting time starts from the date you lodge the application, hindi from medical. Okay, so yun yung counting nyo, 40 days, 6 months, whatever. So laging yung lodgement date ang counting. But usually kung mabilisan ang proseso, let's say for example nakalagay lang na 3 months processing o halimbawa nakalagay lang 45 days processing, well obviously pagbigay mo ng medical, naka-process agad yan, the immigration will have 28 days window to actually look back to your application and check for themselves whether you've done the request for further information, and if it's there and it's ready, then they can make a decision straight away. They don't need to wait na matapos yung 40 days. If it's there, they open the application and they're happy, they can make the decision straight away. Okay, but you cannot force the immigration na, binigay ko na yung medical ko, mag-decide ka na. So, hindi pwedeng ganon. So, hayaan mo sila because they do have the 28-day cycle every single time. Okay, now, okay. Si Melba Thomas, thanks po. Bali 2 years lang po sa akin currently, kaso pasok ang position ko sa medium short term po. Okay, so I'm not really so sure about your occupation, Melba, so I'm not going to comment on that, but yeah, congratulations to you if that is the case. And then Mylene B. Millar, hello po. Mas advisable po ba na mag-apply na lang muna ako ng tourist visa po, then mag-apply na lang then student visa onshore? Well, I don't want to say advisable because I've never seen your circumstances, but yes, it is possible that you apply for tourist visa once you're granted a tourist visa. If the tourist visa has no 8503 conditions, then that means you can apply for a student visa while on shore and you don't need to go back home. Okay? Now, whether or not it's going to be granted, that's another question. That's why it's important that you have thought about your GTE, you have thought about your career goals, and kung ano yung tama sa iyo. Okay? Now, so Renz Tangko, ask ko lang po if mag-grant yung 189 visa at nasa Pinas pa lang po ako at hindi pa nakapag-travel Australia. Okay lang po ba na mag-married kami ng girlfriend po? Balak po namin na pagkadating ko sa Australia ay i-apply ko siya ng tourist visa and eventually kung meron na further stay sa visa niya, then apply po namin ang onshore partner visa. Thank you po and more power. Yeah, if it is a 189 visa, ibig sabihin skilled independent yan. Yeah, so pasok ka muna ng Australia and then tama yung sequence mo and then papuntahin mo siya dito on a tourist visa. Nagkasal na ba kayo? Girlfriend, okay, kapag kakasal na kayo, then yeah, you can apply for partner visa. Yeah, that's okay. So, no one will stop you to do that if granted na yung 189 mo. Pero hindi during kasi di ba nag-claim ka ng points for single points. Pero once it's granted, yeah, you should be okay. Raf FY, sakali po ba ang student visa holder pwede sponsoran ng partner or wife as dependents? Okay, teka. Medyo magulo yun. Sakali po ba ang student visa holder pwedeng sponsoran ang partner or wife as dependents? Okay, no, you cannot sponsor because you are on a student visa. The only people that can sponsor a partner from overseas is the Australian citizen, Australian permanent resident, or eligible New Zealand citizen. If you are on a student visa, your family can come to Australia on a subsequent dependent visa. Okay? But if you did not declare your partner when you made an application in your student visa, there's no way you can get your partner. It's going to put you into trouble. Okay? You do the right thing. So, pwedeng magsama kayo ng partner nyo and then declare sa immigration and then make a new student visa application with you and your partner. It's not a subsequent dependent. So, ayusin nyo muna. Otherwise, you'll be risking yourself for refusal because of non-disclosure and misleading the immigration. Okay, so we're just wrapping up for the last 3 questions. From Monsky Domingo, hello po attorney, good evening po. Question po, considered po ba na overstaying kung nag-lodge po ng student visa last December 22 onshore and tourist visa will expire this February for some reasons, hindi nabigyan ng BBA ang main applicant. Pero ang dependent, meron pong BBA. Wala pa pong result ang student visa application namin. Okay, now if you came on a tourist visa and the tourist visa is still valid, ang counting ng tourist visa kung meron kang condition na 3 months stay, ang counting nun is from the date you entered Australia, not from the date of grant. The date you entered Australia, so 3 months. And then, kung within that 3 months, nag-apply ka ng student visa, mabibigyan ka ng bridging visa A. Yung tourist visa, mababaliwala na yan pag nag-expire na yung 3 months stay mo. Okay? So, that means to say na hindi ka illegal. So, hindi ka overstaying kasi nag-apply ka before the last day ng 3 months stay mo sa Australia. Ngayon, kung hindi pa nabibigyan ng bridging visa A, dapat meron, no? It's almost automatic. So, which means to say, you have to contact the immigration and find out where is the bridging visa A na in association with your student visa application that you lodge before the expiry of your tourist visa. Okay? Right, si Ana Tamayo, I think this is the last one, Ana Tamayo. I'm currently working from home po here sa Philippines and my employer po is Brisbane. Wow, ganda ng employer. So, I'm a bookkeeper and EA din po ang boss. What does EA means? EA din po ang boss and they're planning to sponsor me under 482 visa. I graduated po ng Business Admin, major in Management. Qualified po kaya if employer ko mag-sponsor? Now, first things first, in what occupation? If it is a bookkeeper, occupation, I don't think it's on the list. If it is the accountancy or accountant, yes, it's on the list. But there are caveats there. Okay, so we have to make an assessment dun sa iyong employer kung papasa sila at hindi sila sakop ng caveats. Okay? So, just make sure na ano ba yung nominated occupation and whether or not the employer is affected by the caveat. Okay? So, that's not a straightforward case. Okay, so I think we have answered everything. So again, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat at maraming salamat po sa pagtangkilik nyo ng Visa Mo Sagot Ko. We'll see you next week, the same time, the same place. And please don't forget to like and share ang Auspac Visa page so that you can be updated whatever happens sa Australian visa and migration law. And of course, there are so many opportunities there in our page na baka maging beneficial sa iyo at sa iyong mga kamag-anak. Okay? So again, maraming salamat po sa pagdating nyo ngayong gabi and I hope to see you next Wednesday. So, yun lang po. Bye-bye!